You know, I wasn't going to make any videos because I've been working on videos and some scripting. I just watched a video from Matt over at LinuxCast about a rant that he did called "Don't Be That RTFM Guy." And I tell you what, he really said everything I've always said, at least to my computer screen. Don't be a butthead. If you know the answer to a question, please answer it, because you were there once too. And just because you was treated like an ass by an ass, why pass it on? There's lots of things you can pass on. Knowledge is one of them. So yes, don't be the RTFM guy. I've been there a time or two myself, and that's the most irritating thing. And if I wasn't a stubborn old fool, I'd have went back to Windows 2. So please, don't be the RTFM guy. You know, lots of people can read the fucking manual, and it doesn't make any sense to them. I don't understand the Arch Wiki 99% of the time. That's why I watch other people's videos, because sometimes they actually tell you things. So please, if someone asks for help and you know the answer, give them the link. It takes just as long to give them the link as it does telling them to read the fucking manual. So please.
And I've talked about this before, but as a member of the Linux community, we need to have some empathy towards those people. When they are coming to Linux for the first time, probably through something like this Steam Deck, and they don't know what they're doing, telling them to read the fucking manual is not an appropriate response. I'm sorry, but it's not. Like, you just really can't tell a brand new user to go read the fucking manual. I don't care how appropriate or how good the documentation is. It doesn't matter. If you are going to spend the time to respond to someone, like if someone asks a question and you're going to respond to them, and your response is going to take up enough time to say read the fucking manual, you also have the same amount of time. You could go to the manual, find the link that they need, and give it to them. Then they can read the manual. They don't have to search through the whole thing. They can just go to the one part that they need, and you've helped somebody for the day. You haven't been an asshole, okay?
Don't be that RTFM guy. And I tell you what, he really said everything I've always said. You know, when people come from Windows to Linux, and they don't really understand how Windows works, what do you think they're going to do with Linux? File system is a file system, yes, but they're different in Windows versus Linux. Sure, the browser is the same thing. You can surf the internet all day long on Linux or Windows and never know the difference as long as you're still in the browser. But once you get out of the browser, try to fix the display or other things like Matt says, it's a whole different world in Linux. So this RTFM thing is just a bunch of hooey. Doesn't need to be done that way. Just be a good person for once. You know, I always say everyone had to learn Windows. That's where everybody starts at, Windows. That's what the last 30 years has been, Windows. Everybody had to learn how to use Windows. You had to learn key combinations. You had to learn how to open a window. You had to learn how to install a program. You had to learn how to go surf for one. Linux is no different. You still have to learn how to use the key commands. You still learn how to close and open windows. You still have to learn how to use the file system. Granted, there is no A, B, C, or D in Linux because it's all one file system. That's the difference. People don't understand that. I had a hell of a time understanding that. And that was 5 years ago when I was younger. Please, be the kind person that you can be if you try just a little. Give them the answer. Yeah, like this is going to be a little short video and it's turned into a longer one. Because I keep recording pieces. Because I keep thinking of new things. Also, lost my train of thought. You know, the man pages are cryptic at best. You have to be a super geek to understand what they say. If you study them long enough, yes, there is some rhyme to the reason, the way they state things, but it's so technical, it's like, what did I just read 7 times in a row made no sense. You know, another thing, people come to these forums for like Linux Mint or Debian, EndeavourOS. They may not be used to forums. They may not understand the etiquette. They're from Windows. They don't have that. Some of that stuff's not available in Windows, or they've never used it in Windows. So it's all foreign. But they managed somehow, through some Google search, most likely, or a friend, told them, well, you need to go to EndeavourOS's forum, because that's what you're using. And they'll come in there, and they'll post in the wrong area, and most likely, I mean, it happens all the time. And then sometimes the moderators need to be just a little more lenient too. Say, well, this needs to be over here, and just transfer it there. Don't get all your pantyhose all in a wad. Just put them in the right place. Let them ask the questions. They may not know how to search for an answer either. You, the guy with the red hat over there, I always pick on the guy with the red hat because, you know, he's a... May not understand that question's been asked 100 times. And they may not know how to word the question in the search bar. Or they word it, they don't get the answer they're looking for, so they come back and they ask a question, which may have been answered 10 times in a row in the last 6 months. Okay. Give them the answer. Don't tell them to go read this article and read that forum and go over here, go over there. Just give them the answer. That's in any form. That doesn't mean Endeavor's any different than the Debian one or the Mint one or Manjaro or Garuda or whatever. Be a kind person. Just give them the answer. Say, well, okay, here you go. Here's the answer. Here is how you do this. Here's what you do there. And then put the link in and point them to that spot. But give them an explanation why. Just don't say, well, here you go. That don't tell them nothing. Trust me, I've been there. I was on EndeavourOS for about 4 or 5 days with Rick. Rick knows who he is out there on EndeavourOS. He helped me for 4 or 5 days trying to get sound working with my old motherboard in EndeavourOS. We never did get it fixed. The only way of fixing it was putting in a different video card with a different HDMI port, which was what was working, but no audio through HDMI. So we was trying to figure that out. And he was gracious enough to spend a lot. We spent like 4 or 5 hours of his time, and I was willing to help. You know, if it helped someone else, I was willing to do so. But I was new. I just typed in what he said to do, and I reported back. Like I said, we didn't get it fixed. I just reinstalled and put in a different video card. It all works. But he was willing to help, and that's one great person. God will take care of him. You know, people come up and ask a question for a reason. Because they don't understand what they just read. Or it just did not compute. I know that's kind of a corny way of saying it. They didn't understand, but you're the person that has the answer and the knowledge. Why not just be a wonderful person and pass it along? Doesn't cost you anything. You've already paid for your internet bandwidth. And you're sitting there surfing through all the forums to read the questions and the responses, because you might learn something too. Well, if you have, pass it along. That's the problem with this world nowadays. All the memes and I and I want it now. There is no more important person in the world than me, so I want it now. I know I'm ranting along, but this is the way I feel today. I want to rant. Ask my sister. She gets so damn tired of me ranting. Sometimes she tells me to shut up. Imagine that. Please, for the love of God, be a kind human being for once in your life and give them the answer. It might make you feel good. As always, thank you for watching Bruce's Eclectic World. God bless. Have a great day. And at this 100-degree heat, please stay inside and hydrated. Thank you for watching. Bye.